Hi everybody, this is Bobby with bobbystamps.blogspot.com, and I'm going to show you how I made this beautiful card. I love this card. I know I've done a lot of the blending with the inks of here lately, and this is, I think, my third card with the stamp set, but I can't stop. I'm going to try to stop after this one, but just look at all the shine, look at all the silver. I am honestly thinking that this might be my Christmas card, and if it is, I've already thought I will stamp the medallion more to the top, and then I will use the sentiment, "This is a time of joy, a time of love and cheer, a time for making memories to last throughout the year," and put that more towards the bottom. And if I do make this be my Christmas card, I will definitely show you the revised version of it. And I'm thinking this year when I send out my Christmas cards that I'm not going to do all of them the same. I'm going to maybe do 10 of one design and 10 of another, something like this. But this card will definitely make my list. I absolutely love this card. I was finishing up making one just a little bit ago, and that just popped into my head, that design, so I had to go with it. It didn't take me very long at all to get it pulled together either. So we're using Dapper Denim is going to be our card base. So we'll just go ahead and score that, and you could even make it open this way if you wanted to. I just chose to have it go the long way. So that is the card base. I'm going to grab this so we don't make a mess. We're going to use a silver foil sheet, and this one is cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and then we're going to use a piece of Whisper White, and this piece is cut by 5 3 3/4, and this is where we're going to do the blending of the ink. I'm going to use a little strip of the silver foil sheet and then a piece of the Dapper Denim, and we're going to just do it like that when we do our sentiment at the top, but I'll show you that when we get to it, okay? So we're going to need Versamark ink. We're going to need our Stampin' Buddy. You're going to need the heat tool, and of course the Frosted Medallion stamp set. For our inks, we're going to use Dapper Denim, Smoky Slate, and Island Indigo. And what I've done here is I've just taken one of the round sponges, and I usually cut them in fourths, and then I take a little binder clip. I write the name on a little post-it and just cut it in half and clip it to it. And then I keep all of these in my nice little tub, and they all have their name on them. I don't really like to use the binder clip on there while I'm inking, but I can lay then the little post-it in front of the ink so that way I don't get them mixed up. So that really helps me. So that's a little tip for you guys. We're going to use and you can see mine are almost used up. I've had these forever. The Basic Jewels rhinestones, and then we're going to use the silver. Not really sure what the exact name of this is. Just an eighth silver 1/8 ribbon. My goodness, it's a mouthful. Okay, so this is the ribbon we're going to use then, and I think that's everything besides dimensionals and glue dots. I think that's it. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'm just going to open up all the inks really quick. Get this a little bit closer so you guys can see what I'm doing. And this just really helps me too. Just going to back out just a bit so you guys can see a little bit better. But this really helps me too when I do this. Like I said, I just take the binder clip off, and you can just set your little sponge in your ink pad, and then you can just keep the name of whatever ink you're using right there in front of you, so that way you can see my pen stopped writing on that one. I don't know what happened. So I'm just going to get a little bit of Dapper Denim, and we don't want to start on the paper. You want to start working off the paper and then work your ink onto the paper, so you don't have smudges and you can't really see then the mark of the ink, or the sponge, I'm sorry. And I just kind of do what I want to begin with, and then I wanted to put the Smoky Slate in the center to kind of break up the two blues. And this is really easy to blend out too. So you just keep blending and blending and blending. And adding and taking away. Now we'll go in with some Island Indigo. You can even turn it so that way you don't get it all going in the same direction. And then it's okay to go on top of the other colors as well. And then we'll just keep blending it and building it until we get it. So you could stop there if you wanted to do it lighter. This gray really helped, the smoky slate, it really helps to blend it and soften it, I found when I was doing it earlier. And then we'll go back in with some more Dapper Denim. And you want to be careful too on this, guys, because you can rip your paper and move it around. I had that happen earlier on me. So I'm trying to not use such a rough hand, but at the same time you really want to get those colors blended in there well. And you definitely want to use a paper behind. I sometimes just go full force in with the gray. I don't know, it just seems to like blend easier and it doesn't make as harsh of a mark on your paper, I think. And then I try not to do too much there with the smoky slate because that's where we're going to be embossing too. So now I'm going to take the Island Indigo and just kind of work it back up in there. And then I'll do the same in just a minute with the Dapper Denim. But I think we're kind of getting it where I'm liking the colors. So I'm just going to take some of this and kind of blend it together like that. Okay, I think we'll say that's good for that. I mean, we could go on, but we don't have to. So I'm going to grab a diaper wipe really quick and wipe my tips of my fingers off, because if I don't, I'll grab a piece of cardstock and ruin it, I'm sure. Okay, now the next thing that I'm going to do is we're getting ready to stamp the medallion. So the first thing I want to do is grab my Stampin' Buddy. I always call this Stampin' Buddy. It's Embossing Buddy. Embossing Buddy. I always call it my Stampin' Buddy. I guess I want somebody to stamp with me, guys. Okay. So then we'll grab our Versamark. And then I like to do it because this is such a big stamp. I'm just going to ink it up this way. Just hold it upside down. And you really want to make sure you get all of those little spots inked up really good with the Versamark. That's probably good. And then we're going to get it centered the best we can right in the center of our paper. Right in the middle, right in the center. Okay? And you don't want to move this around. You just want to press down, make sure you're getting the Versamark, and then pull straight up. You don't want to slide it or move it or anything like that in any manner. And then people were asking me, I just got this from Dollar Tree. They're $1. I used my labeler to write what it was. And then I even had somebody ask me how many little cups of embossing powder did I have. And this is just one. But I want to show you how easy it is to emboss this. You can do it. I'm going to show you the way I did it because I didn't do it that way. But I just did it this way. And then watch that just run right over top of that. And then you can just do it back. And it pretty much all stayed right in my container. Okay, we want to flick it and make sure, and I keep a paintbrush nearby so that way, woo, I always flick it out of my hand. That way if I do see spots that I don't want on there, and that made some of that come off, so I'm gonna run it through there again. Make sure we got it all covered now. Yep, that looks good. Just want to make sure you shake off the excess. Put that to the side, and I'm going to turn the heat tool on. It'll be a little bit loud. I'm going to wait a few minutes, let it heat up. You guys see that it's starting to turn? Just make sure you get, oops, just make sure you get every area embossed. I don't know if you guys seen it right there at the end, that one little end of the medallion hadn't gotten embossed yet, and I see a little bit. I don't know if it's too late, if I can take it off with my paintbrush, but I see, and that's probably where I dropped it and then I went back in, so it's a good thing to, and you guys could see how much I was looking to try to make sure I got it all, and I still got, I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm going to go ahead and show you so that way you don't make your mistake right in there. I mean, it's okay, you can barely see it, but I know it's there. Okay, so we'll just lay that. I just kind of like let that set for a little bit. I don't want to fuss with it. Oh, I wanted to show you too. Oh, I keep dropping it. But right up there, see, I didn't quite get enough embossing powder. So that's why we just really want to make sure you look at that and take your time with it. Don't rush like I just did. So the next thing I'm going to do then is we'll go ahead. The heat tool is still nice and warm. So we'll go ahead and do our sentiment while that is still warm. So we'll just ink it up, and then we're just going to try to get it the best you can get it in the center, and just down and straight up. And then we'll just, this one we'll just use the spoon for, since it's not so much. You can kind of just pour it straight down. And then we'll turn it over and give it a few flicks on the back. And look at this one and make sure. I'm going to go ahead and take my paintbrush. I'm not sure what all that is. Kind of smeared maybe. But we'll go ahead and try to get all of that off there. And it might be too, guys, where I made the card and then I just immediately went into doing the video. Maybe I didn't clean my stamp that well. And the smear. I don't know. We'll go ahead and turn the heat tool on again. Okay, we'll just lay that to the side for now. And then we'll go ahead, excuse me, and bring in our card and we can start assembling it. We're almost finished, guys. So we'll just bring in our ribbon and we'll just cut off what we need here real quick. And I chose to put my darker end to the bottom because the sentiment is done in the Dapper Denim, so I want it in the lighter shade of blue at the top. So we'll just put our ribbon on the back of our card, make sure we have it adjusted where we want it, and then we're going to cut. Actually, I like to tie mine while it's still on the roll, so I just leave it like that. I just kind of feel like I don't waste as much when I do it that way. I could be totally wrong, but that's how I feel. My fingers aren't working today. And I'll just pull it through. And then you just keep going until you get it to the size of bow that you want for your card. I think that looks good. And we're just going to trim up the bottom. And then you can always look at it and see if it's too big, if you're going to want it smaller, but I think that's fine. So I'm just going to give it one little last tug and then grab our glue dots and we're just going to put a little glue dot right on the back like so, and then just put it right in the center there like so. And this ribbon lays, I mean, look how pretty that lays. I just love it. Okay, so then we'll go ahead and I'm going to use Fast Fuse just because it's foil. Nope. Thought I was out of my Fast Fuse for a minute. Just because it's a little bit heavier than regular cardstock. I just want to use that. Okay, now we can go ahead. We've got all of our ribbon on and everything, so we'll just go ahead and do our sentiment. I decided to go with a little bit longer piece of foil on this one because in the first one I just felt like the only thing you could see was the two ends. So I wanted to go just a tad bit wider with this one. So let me grab some dimensionals. And I'm only going to use probably 3 should be enough. And then you just want to make sure too that you're putting them in. I let's see, yeah, let's move that one over a little bit. You want to make enough, make sure that you're leaving enough room for when we're going to cut the little slits out of the end here in a minute. And this one, the silver piece, the foil sheet, is just a tad wider than my card because I'm going to be taking away from that when I do the end pieces too. So we just kind of want to center this on there the best you can. And I forgot to use my embossing buddy, and you can kind of see little flakes around there. So just make sure that you guys, if you have it, use it. I just constantly forget that I even have it laying right here beside me, and I forget. I need to get in the habit of doing that every time I'm embossing. So another thing we're just going to then just right out of just the very end pieces, because I really want a lot of my foil sheet to be showing through, so I don't want to take off too much of it. And that's another reason why I made it wider, so it could be a little bit more visible on there. So then with that, we'll put on a couple of more dimensionals. And I'm just going to use 3 on this one. And before I do that, before we stick that on, let's go ahead and grab our card base, and we'll go ahead and put this piece on because it'll be a little bit harder to get our Fast Fuse on there if we have the sentiment where it's kind of like popped up a little bit. So we'll just center that like that. And then grab the sentiment. And we'll put it right about that. Actually, that size just worked out. I'm going to move it over just a little bit. Try to get it even on both sides. Okay guys, our final step now is to put on our jewel dots. And you can skip to do this part if you don't want to. I actually am going to post a picture on my blog of one that does not have the jewel rhinestones on there. But I just picked various sizes and I put one up in that corner, and then I just kind of offset it by putting one over here. And then I was running out of the little ones. Hold on a minute, let me grab it. I like to use the scissors as the end of my fingers, my snips, and sometimes it likes to stick to me. And then I just kind of just randomly went around placing them wherever I wanted to. There's no rhyme or reason. I kind of put two in clusters. And then I think I moved down here and put one. And like I said, you can just put them wherever you choose. You don't have to put them exactly like I'm doing them. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. It looks good to me. So there you go. Make sure you visit my blog for the supply list. It's bobbystampsblogspot.com. Bye guys.